All right, so now we're here, 40 minutes late, only 24 laps complete. Here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Highline Racing League, highpoint.com Premier Series, round number 8. We're here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Jacob Pitts, Joey Tabbitt on the call, Zach Johnson, our late producer, because iRacing producers only, I guess there are only like 2 of them on the planet. But nonetheless, here we are. 25 laps are complete. It's 69 laps in total. Don't ask me to do the math. I think that leaves us with like 45 to go or something. Nonetheless, Caleb Morrissey's out in front. I believe he's led every single lap so far, but Austin Bloom is closing in slowly but surely on the race leader.
Yes, he is. It was a very, very big jump from Caleb Morrissey early on. Scott Zellner was our pole sitter, but he's lost the lead in quite a big way. He's now 5 seconds back in 4th. Caleb Morrissey was able to pounce. Austin Bloom was able to get by Zellner, and now it's Bloom doing the chasing of Caleb Morrissey, who came so excruciatingly close to a victory last week. He had that second place after such a strong run in those new tires in Milwaukee, so maybe this is the week he turns it around.
Fill me in, who won last week?
Alan Kundman won last week, and unfortunately, Alan Kundman is currently 12th right now. He's actually lost 2 spots since the start. He was racing with his championship rival, Scott Wheeler Jr., in those low positions, but whoa, and he gets into the wall. That's not going to help things.
That's a guy battling for the championship, Alan Kundman, bouncing it off the wall. There he is now, kind of off speed a little bit. This helps, really. Scott Wheeler Jr., who started back in 20th, he's now P7 in this championship battle.
And Wheeler Jr., of course, has the high ground already, so he's just going to pull away even more at the moment. Caleb Morrissey, Austin Bloom, all the drivers ahead of him, not really close in the championship. It's very much a 2-horse race at the moment. And Scott Wheeler Jr., who didn't even get a qualifying lap in. I couldn't tell you why. Honestly, I didn't see. I don't know if he deliberately put himself at the back because he thought he was strong enough here, or if he just missed out both of his laps. But one way or another, he has made up 13 positions, and he's up into 7th. And next up is Malarkey, who it looks like he's catching at quite the rate of knots. He's faster than everybody but Morrissey on track right now.
And Morrissey now pulling away from Bloom again. Yeah, so these guys are going to have to make a pit stop here at some point. And the way this looks, it's going to be under green. So the question is, Joey, when in the world do you decide to bring it to pit road?
Well, I would either go as late as humanly possible, or I would just cut the race in 2, because it seems like there is quite a bit of fall off. The fastest lap, the best lap for Caleb Morrissey, at least our leader, 54.1. The last lap, 56.0. So it's almost 2 seconds per lap lost over the course of this run, over the course of these 28 laps we've run so far. So maybe the undercut will be the way to go. Maybe just splitting the race in half will be the way to go. I'm not sure, but it's going to be a lot different from last week, where tires were also a consideration, but the field was also packed a lot closer together. So when the leader pitted, everybody else kind of followed him. But with a spread out field like this, there's probably going to be some alternate strategies getting pulled here.
And tonight we only put on the wheel 4 tracks that were 2 miles in length or longer that weren't plate tracks. So it was Michigan Auto Club, this track in Pocono. And not gonna lie, I think we got the worst option out of the 4, but nonetheless, here we are. Inside now, we're at 40 laps to go.
That's Scott Wheeler Jr. on your screen, chasing down Brad Kress, who actually got by him. So Wheeler, unfortunately, has fallen from 7th to 8th, unfortunately for him. And now he's got Adam Bossy all over the back of him as well. So what was quite the charge through the field, it might be stagnating a little bit. Wheeler might have used up his stuff a little bit too early, and it looks like he might be in a little bit of trouble. That last lap, he got very wiggly out of turn 2, almost lost it, 56.6. Quite slow from Wheeler, so we'll see if he can bring everything back together, keep the car under him, and continue his charge forward.
Now, was it wiggly or was it yiggly?
It was squiggly.
Perfect. Just an update here on the lead, by the way. Austin Bloom has fallen back by about 0.3. It's now 0.8 of a second. He was down almost to 0.3 earlier on in this run. Then you got to go another 4 seconds back to get to James McKee in third. Scott Zellner's in fourth. 6 seconds back from the race leader. Yeah.
And our only casualties, it's been surprisingly clean so far. We've seen a couple wiggles, we've seen a couple loose moments, but not many have hit the wall. It's only Andrew Baker and Dylan Body who have slightly tapped the wall, and they've been stuck in the pits for 11 and 3 laps respectively for some reason. I couldn't tell you why, but other than that, it's been a remarkably clean first 27.
Caution.
Oh dear.
We've got trouble. Tyler Snyder has spun it in turn 2. Caution is out for the first time. He got the wall coming off turn 1 and then spun it down to the inside. Oh, I think he almost kept it off the inside wall, but he spun it back onto the racetrack. Here is the replay of the 33, Tyler Snyder.
Yeah, he just gets too high on exit. It's very easy to do with that white wall. It just kind of pokes out of you, especially with that safer barrier there. And good on him for avoiding the inside wall, but he already got the worst of it from the outside wall in turn 1. So even though he did get back out on the racetrack, that right side of the car is going to be quite damaged, quite hampered. And I shouldn't have said anything about how clean these guys were being, because every time I say that, something bad happens. And unfortunately, Tyler Snyder, the latest victim of the commentator's curse, and Caleb Morrissey, the latest victim of the caution curse that's going to screw over his big lead.
But at this point, I would imagine it should get everybody in the range to make it to the end, maybe. We're inside 40 laps to go. Can they make it 36 laps on a tank of gas?
Well, considering they've made it 31 laps easily, I guarantee you they probably can make it 36 laps to the end. Maybe it'll be close if the fuel window is something like 33, but judging by the fact that nobody showed any signs of saving fuel or coming in anytime soon, I would imagine they should be pretty safe to make it to the end. But my question would be, does anybody decide to take 2 tires here and jump the queue a little bit? We saw at Milwaukee last week, taking 2 tires wasn't really the move, but as every single driver in the field is going to come in this time, is anybody going to do something to jump the queue here?
Doubt it. Tires are important.
Andrew Siegel tried to jump the queue last week. He comes in with everybody this time, and as do the 19 drivers that are still out on track. Caleb Morrissey, this is a big moment for him. He's going to be very close to the front, but he's not going to have that first pit stall critically. Austin Bloom is going to have a shorter run, and James McKee and Scott Zellner especially is going to have a shorter run in that first pit stall. So this is critical.
Let's see. Looks like everybody's taking 4 just based off of looking up and down pit road. 4 tires is the call. And winning. Austin Bloom wins the race off pit road.
What happened to Caleb Morrissey? He's still stuck in there.
Did he hit the wall? He's still in the box. Oh, or did he speed?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
These cars don't have pit limiters, so that's easy to do. That would be very embarrassing, and he wouldn't be the first driver to lose a race because of speeding in the pits at Indy, but if Caleb Pablo Montoya did that, that's going to be very, very embarrassing for him.
Does that mean he's going to wreck it on the restart, trying to fly back up through the field?
I mean, he was pretty good.
Sitting there. You got to think this has to be damage related.
But I don't remember him hitting the wall.
Yeah. Well, if you speed on pit road, the penalty's not that long, is it? I thought it was 30 seconds. This has been almost a minute now.
I don't know. Maybe his iRacing crashed, but Siegel's also in there, and Snyder has damage. Siegel has damage, so that explains why they're both still back there. But This is bizarre. Caleb Morrissey's still in the pits. He's showing no signs of movement. We might need to send a doctor down there to see if he's actually alive. Do we have Jerry Punch on hand or
and pace
someone?
car just came off turn 4. It's coming down the front straightaway. Now Morrissey takes off. 1:35 in the box. I don't think that's a penalty unless he had to go heed nature's call. I'm not sure what was up there with the driver of the 6 who was the race leader coming into pit road.
Yeah, I sure hope he didn't have to heed nature's call, because he's only 47 points back in the championship right now, and with 4 rounds to go, this win over some of the main protagonists. That would have been a big point swing for him. So he would not have given that up voluntarily. So it's very strange, but I'm honestly hoping he can drive his way up through the field here so we can talk to him in the post-race interviews and ask him what the heck on earth happened. But amidst the drama, the big beneficiary was Austin Bloom, who has earned the lead, and Scott Zellner as well, who came into the pits fourth, made up 2 spots. He's in second now. He's on the outside, which could be an optimal line on the restart. If he can get a good start, he can sweep around the outside of Bloom. We know Zellner has short run speed. He didn't show very much long run speed, so we'll see if he can get the jump here.
Half a lap to green this time by. We will have 35 to go when we get the restart. Austin Bloom's your race leader. Then it's Scott Zellner, James McKee, Kendall Kerr, Justin Malarkey, your top 5. As Malarkey's still looking for his first win on the season. He's been close many times. He just hasn't been able to seal the deal yet. He's going to try it again tonight.
And Scott Zellner also hasn't won a race all season. The drivers around him, Bloom, McKee, Kerr, they've all won one, but Zellner, Malarkey, they could be the spoilers up here.
They bring it off turn 4. Pace car drifts it onto pit road. And Austin Bloom will lead us down. Gets back in the gas. Green flag. We're back underway here from Indianapolis.
That was an Alan Kundman level jump from Austin Bloom. Well done to the number 3, getting about 2 or 3 car lengths ahead of the 4 entering turn 1. It's going to be single file. Back about 5, 6, 7 cars. And then we look back all the way to the back. Caleb Morrissey, he might be getting a little bit impatient. They're going 2 by 2 in front of him. That's going to be immensely frustrating for the former race leader.
He's way back there trying to make it 3 wide with Siegel. And with Tyler Snyder, the man that just brought out the caution flag. Here they go. Here's the battle for 5th. You've got Brad Kress down low. And he's going to take the spot away from Justin Malarkey. That's P5. Malarkey tries to cross him over. Can't do it.
Malarkey and Kress, they got to be careful not to fight too hard here, because if they fall back, if they lose this front pack, it's going to make it so much more difficult to drive through the field. Speaking of driving through the field, you see that bright blue and pink car of Caleb Morrissey carving his way through these first 4 cars. He started 19th. As we cross the line here, he is in 15th, so that's 4 spots. He's got 15 more to go.
And Austin Bloom is gone. He's got a second over Scott Zellner already. And we're only on, I think, the 3rd lap of this green flag run. How about the battle for position number 3? This is Kendall Kerr all over the back bumper of James McKee into 3.
And these drivers have learned from that first long run. They've learned how the tires go off. So it's interesting to see in the second run, will some drivers who used up their stuff too much actually learn to fall back a little bit and save up their stuff for later in the run? Clearly, Austin Bloom has quite a bit of short run speed. Scott Zellner did not have any long run speed last time, so we'll see if he's learned something. Maybe he's holding back a little bit. And it looks like Kerr is just going to streak by McKee very, very easily. McKee didn't fight that at all.
No, and at this point, just save the tires. I don't blame him one bit. Right behind him, though, Scott Wheeler Jr. just got by Justin Malarkey. He's got 5 spots between himself and Alan Kundman, so championship implications here as they bring it down to the max straightaway. Scott Wheeler trying to put as many points as he can between himself and the driver of the 8.
And he's only got 5 spots to the leader of the race, so Scott Wheeler Jr. could really be the underdog here. He could go from last to first. It's a very real possibility. We saw the pace he had on that first run, and he passed his way from 20th to 7th. He's got to do half of that on this run, albeit with a couple drivers who have a little bit more pace than he was dealing with before. But Scott Wheeler Jr. charging through the field, and he's running race-winning lap times.
Meanwhile, just behind him, Justin Malarkey under pressure from Adam Bossy. That is for P7. Side by side, you got Dylan Petit right behind him. Alan Kundman there as well.
It's always tough running that inside line in turn 2 that Adam Bossy just did. If you're alongside the car, you can he can make it work, but usually it's just too tight. It's too scrubby. So for one thing or another, you're going to be destroying your tires, and to make it even worse, you're going to be losing all your momentum as the car on the outside sweeps around the outside. So Bossy's going to want to get a little bit closer. He's going to try it again through turn 4, almost identical to turn 2, and it's kind of the same thing. He almost gets the curb on the inside. He gets loose, and that's just going to kill his momentum. And here comes Dylan Poteet.
So Poteet going to go to the inside. They'll go side by side for position number 8. And it looks like Dylan will get the spot here as they head back to turn 1. That'll give Malarkey a little bit of breathing room. But now Kunman going to try and get by the 27. Can't do anything there. And Toby Wedgwood closing in on the back bumper of the 8. He looks to the inside, but can't do it.
Poteet really overcooked turn 1 there. He lost a lot of momentum, and Alan Kunman goes super deep out of turn 2 as well. It's a massive diversity of lines, and none of them seem to be working for anybody. But Dylan Poteet, he's got something working for him. He's to the inside in turn 3. Again, the inside, he's scrubbing those tires, but is he going to be clear of Malarkey? Yes, by inches.
That was close, and now here comes Kunman to the inside. Malarkey going to have to give him the room. They bring it down the front straightaway. Scott Wheeler Jr. is closing in. He's almost caught Brad Kress and James McKee. That's 4th and 5th. In the meantime, it's still a pack back here, all trying to get by Malarkey. Here comes Caleb Morrissey down low on Toby Wedgwood.
Yeah, speaking of drivers making their way from the back, Caleb Morrissey, he's still around. He stagnated a little bit in the cars behind, but as he passes Toby Wedgwood, that's going to be the top 10 for Caleb Morrissey. I don't know about driving his way up to the lead under green flag running, but if we do get another caution somehow, I would not count out the number 6 to continue his path forward. Scott Wheeler Jr. is almost to the back of Brad Kress. They've been kind of running one by one, bumper to bumper. Wedgwood gets loose on your screen. These guys are all over the place, and Kunman's all over the place as Morrissey's going to get by him.
Yeah, Kunman's car just does not seem to be in the racetrack like some of the others. We saw him hit the wall a couple times earlier on, and now he's just getting passed after these tires have faced a little bit of usage, as we've got 29 laps to go here from Indianapolis.
Little bit tail happy from both Morrissey and Kunman. More tail happy from Kunman that time. He might be getting in that endless cycle that you never want to get into. You overheat those rear tires and you can never cool them down. Seems like we talk about this every week, but it's a very real reality in all the NASCAR cars, and especially these ARCA cars. You get those rear tires heated up, and it's very, very difficult to cool them down, even at a track with long straights like this. And unfortunately, it looks like Alan Kunman might be stuck in that. That was decent through turn 3. It looks like he's brought it together, but he's got to hold on to those things for 29 more laps.
Bringing it around down the front straightaway. Everybody back to single file. And, yeah, I'm glad we made this decision tonight.
Kunman pulling the IndyCar line down the front straight for some reason. The draft, it's somewhat effective. It's not that effective, so Kunman was just kind of moving around for no reason there. But Malarkey is getting shuffled out of the groove. Matt Owens and Chance Duckworth are trying to take care of him. Is Malarkey going to chop off Owens? No, he won't, but Owens, pretty good run through turn 2. He's actually got like a quarter of his nose to the inside of Malarkey as we go to turn 3, and Malarkey just gives it up.
Yeah, I think his tires are shot at this point, or he's saving them, thinking we're not going to see a caution the rest of the way, but he's running out of time. And he's lost a lot of ground. Remember, he started in the top 5. It's just in front of him. Matt Owens slaps the wall. Coming off turn 4. Keeps it rolling. Doesn't lose a ton of time. But I'm sure that didn't feel pleasant.
And if your tires are shot this early on, we've still got 27 laps to go. So you're in big trouble if you've been using up all your stuff this early. Morrissey and Bossy through turn 2. Here you see the benefit of that outside line. Morrissey sweeps it around and easy, and he's got the momentum down the back straight to boot. So the inside there, Adam Bossy keeps trying it, and it just isn't working for him.
Here comes, that's Toby Wedgwood underneath Kunman. So he takes away that 10th place spot. Scott Wheeler, though, knocked it on the back door. Brad Kress and James McKee. This is 4, 5, and 6, plus Kendall Kerr just up the road as well. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Wheeler's been knocking on Brad Kress's door for the past 10 laps or so, but he hasn't been able to make the move. Let's compare him through turn 1 here. Looks like Kress a little bit faster on entry, but on exit, Wheeler, he just has more tire under him, but unfortunately, he can't quite find a place to make a move. He needs to get a much better run out of turn 2 or turn 4. This could be the one. That is a heck of a run from Scott Wheeler Jr., and he is going to get to the inside of Brad Kress, and this should be a pretty straightforward move into 3. I think Brad Kress got stuck into the outside wall to boot, and James McKee goes about 14 lanes too high. That's going to kill all his momentum. Is Wheeler going to get the 2-for-1 special, or I guess 2-for-2 special? No, he isn't, because there's that outside line again. You can absolutely kill yourself in turn 3, but if you've got that outside line, that outside run in turn 4, you're still going to go down the front straight.
25 laps to go. Here from Indianapolis, Austin Bloom continues to lead the way. A 1.3 second advantage over Scott Zellner. Then you got to go 2 seconds more. Back to Kendall Kerr, James McKee behind him. McKee, Wheeler, Kress all battling it out here. Wheeler now in the P5 spot, looking for more though, trying to get as many cars as possible between himself and Kunman. Kunman stuck back in 11th.
McKee's got to be careful here. He messed up turn 3 last time, and he's a little bit high, but it was decent. It's not the worst turn 3 I've ever seen, but it was a great turn 3 for Scott Wheeler Jr., who again is all over the back of McKee. He runs a much lower line in turn 4, but he's got absolutely nothing down the front straight again. It's going to be extremely frustrating for him. And these things aren't Indy cars. You don't even get a draft down the front straight. He's just falling back and back and back. It's almost like a road course race in the way you have to set up these corners and set up your momentum. And in Alan Kunman news, he's getting absolutely swallowed back in 10th. Bossy finally got by him. Duckworth got by him. Now Matt Owens is all over the back of him as well. He's fallen back now, but Kunman is not looking like he did last week this week.
For those of you that may be joining us from the eNASCAR Road to Pro Contender iRacing series, I'm sorry. We've got 23 laps to go this time by. I can't say we're doing too much better here, but here we are.
Matt Owens, now that's a good turn 4. I think you can see him in the very, very back of your screen. You see Bossy, and he just went behind the graphics, so no, you can't see him. Now we see him. Thank you, Mr. Director Man. He's on the back of Kunman. Kunman really overcooked that entry there, but he's got more. Does he have more tires under him than Matt Owens does? He's been all over the place. Matt Owens must be a silent killer of the tires if he can't stick with Kunman, but one way or another, Kunman, he looks vulnerable every lap, and then he just streaks away from Owens.
Brad Kress has parked the car. He's done for the night. Okay, well, Brad Kress fell off the face of the planet. Let me correct that.
Yeah, he got kicked out halfway down the back straight. So poor old Brad Kress. This was a great result for him in 6th place. He's been in and around there over the course of the season, but a top 6, a top 10, a top 5, anything like that would have been great for Kress. But the internet picks and chooses its winners, or I guess Indy chooses its winners.
Caleb Morrissey on the back bumper of Dylan Poteet. That's P6. There you see, who in the world is that? That's Chance Duckworth. Duckworth driving it up the racetrack. You've got Kunman there, Matt Owens as well. Here's the battle I was just talking about. Okay, yep.
I don't know what Alan Kunman is doing. Why would you go down that low? And Chance Duckworth, in trying to get out of the way, just eats wall. So Alan Kunman, the intimidator, intimidates Chance Duckworth into the wall with whatever the heck that was down the back straight, and it worked.
Meanwhile, Morrissey did get that spot from Poteet. Here's McKee looking to the inside of Kerr. Kerr tries to throw a block. McKee has too big of a run. Here he goes down into turn number 1, and Wheeler's going to try and follow him down there. McKee gets the spot. Let's see if Wheeler can hold it. Yes, he can.
But can he hold it through turn 2 is the question. Kerr might be able to get a run around the outside here. He's stuck almost to the rear bumper of Wheeler, but no. Wheeler just had that little bit extra on the inside, was able to clear Kendall Kerr. So both Wheeler and McKee, and a caution's out. Caution is out.
Yeah. This is for Dalton Beerer, the 38. Him and Andrew Siegel crashed coming out of turn number 1, and Andrew Siegel just drove clean through the back end of the 38 car coming off the corner. We'll get a replay here in a moment.
Here it is, and I should specify that this was the battle for last on track, and Siegel put his bumper to the back of that Smucker's car. It's like a couple years ago with Jeffrey Earnhardt and whoever, Landon Castle, wrecking for 90th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But it's going to be it's going to be a nice sight for Morrissey and Wheeler and a couple of the rest of the gang, because it's going to close up the field again.
And I mean, Andrew Baker, you saw there as well. He is 6 laps down. He sat on pit road for 8 minutes. I don't know why. I don't know if he hit something or what, but he's way back there. He's the only one a lap down, and he almost got a piece of that when it came sliding back down from the wall. So that puts us under our second caution now with 20 laps to go. What do you think, Joey? Stay out, pit. We ran 17 laps since they last came onto pit road.
That's the question all the drivers are going to be asking themselves. I couldn't tell you what everybody's going to do. Honestly, if it was me, I would pit. I see no reason not to pit, because we're running 55s, 56s. We're almost a second, 2 seconds off the pace already. So if you're not pitting, you're going to get swallowed up, especially if like 16 cars pit and 1 doesn't. So I think Austin Bloom will come in here, and we should probably see everybody else follow him.
They bring it off turn 4. Pits are open. Bloom will lead everybody down onto pit road.
Yeah, if you stayed out with everybody else coming in, that would be suicidal. So it's a very easy decision when you see the 14 cars in front of you coming in. Track position's nice, but actually having tires under your car is also nice. Now the curse of the leader, Caleb Morrissey. He lost the lead last time we came into the pits. Can Morrissey survive pit lane this time? Can Austin Bloom survive pit lane this time? Can Scott Zellner get the jump this time? It's a lot of excitement. Let's see who comes out.
Wheeler's already out of his box. Here they come. Bloom wins the race off pit road, and McKee is going to jump Scott Zellner. Morrissey comes out 4th. Scott Wheeler will come around P5. Kendall Kerr falls to 6th.
And Malarkey's the one who's stuck in the pits this time. I do wonder, did he speed as well? We'll see how long he gets stuck in the pits. If he is in the pits for like a minute, no, he does leave after 27.5 seconds. So I got no clue what's going on with these guys. Maybe he did have some secret damage. I don't remember Malarkey ever hitting the wall to any extreme extent, but clearly he thought the fall from 12th to 16th was worth it. And whatever he did to that car, we'll see if he can maybe scrounge up some scraps in the back of the top 15.
So we'll have a restart inside, 20 laps to go here for Austin Bloom, who's pretty much been the class of the field, but we also know that Caleb Morrissey is strong, so we may actually have a battle before this thing's said and done for the race lead.
Yeah, Caleb Morrissey was the class of the field in that first green flag run before he got screwed in the pits, whether it was his fault or not, and he's only got 4 cars to pass to get the lead back. You know where he started at the initial start? He started 4th, so he knows how to pass 3 cars and get to the lead. And I don't know, can he do it again? Has Austin Bloom, Scott Zellner, James McKee, have they learned something new to hold him back? I don't know, but I know Caleb Morrissey's going to be feeling confident.
So 1 lap to green this time. And we'll get a restart with 17 laps to go, with McKee and Austin Bloom on the front row for the restart.
The only thing I would say that worries me, it's nothing against the 2 drivers, but Caleb Morrissey and Scott Wheeler Jr., they're both on charges through the field. Scott Wheeler's been doing it since the start. Morrissey's been doing it since that pit stop. They're both trying to move their way forward, and I hope they don't both get impatient. They don't both send it into the same hole and take each other out, because That's what can happen when you're both fighting for that same spot, when you're both getting really aggressive to move your way back up through the field. That's what we saw in a couple of those restarts last week, so they're just going to have to be nice to each other, be kind, be patient, and don't take each other out. You're both in pursuit of good positions here.
So here they come through turn 3 as we get ready for the restart. Again, with 17 laps to go here from round 8. We've got, what, only 3 races left after tonight?
Yep, 3 races, 9, 10, 11.
So this is it. We're coming down to the end of this deal. Let's see what they can make happen. It'll be Austin Bloom and James McKee bringing us down for the restart. Pace cars on pit road. And Bloom will bring us back up through the gears. Green flag.
Still a pretty solid jump from Bloom, but McKee, he's a little bit closer this time. He's nowhere near Bloom, but he's not 2 or 3 car lengths behind Bloom. Morrissey, Zellner, Wheeler, they all get in line here. Kerr trying to go around the outside of Wheeler. That's not going to happen on lap 1. But this is when Caleb Morrissey really needs to pounce. It was about 5 laps or so into the run. In the first run, I believe, that he took the lead. So he's going to have to start making these moves early. He's going to maybe get to the inside of Zellner here. He's using that little teensy bit of draft that he has. Morrissey to the inside in turn 3. Oh, this is going to be close. He's going to wash up. He's going to be clear. He's going to be clear.
Yeah.
Easy.
So Caleb Morrissey coming from behind after that really long pit stop. He takes P3, and now he's going to try and work on James McKee for the second spot. As we're coming around, 16 laps to go.
He's got to make quick work of James McKee because Austin Bloom is already streaking away, and those big gaps, they're hard to bring down here. So, oh, but that's a mistake from Austin Bloom. He gets super high, and McKee as well.
Oh, and Kunman almost spun it in the background. Everybody keeps rolling. Everybody has to run a higher line, and Morrissey almost spins it out, trying to keep it off the wall. He takes over second, but at what cost? You've got Kunman blocking Poteet all the way down to the grass down the back straightaway. And Austin Bloom can just set sail.
Well, Austin Bloom almost hit the outside wall in turn 2 as well, so he is certainly no stranger to these issues with these cars. I don't know what's going on. It seems like everybody's gone insane. 3 wide. Oh, dear. Snyder. I don't know how they survived that, but they did.
Oh, no, we're not. They're wrecking. There goes Wedgwood into the wall. A big crash on the front straightaway. Matt Owens into the inside wall. He collects Toby Wedgwood. So 2 Wedgwoods for the price of 1.
They made it 3 wide through the corner, and then they wrecked on the straight. So that's 1 for the history books. I couldn't tell you who caused that. Let's see in the replay. It was just a huge gaggle of cars, everybody kind of meeting in the middle there. And did the Wedgwoods turn each other?
That would have been, no, that was Owens, I think, that got into Dylan Wedgwood, turned him up the racetrack into Tyler Snyder, and that sent Owens then back down the racetrack into Toby Wedgwood, who both went hard into that inside wall.
Yeah, that's 4 cars with heavy damage. Owen, Snyder, and the 2 Wedgwoods. And did Malarkey... Oh, if we can get a replay of Justin Malarkey, he absolutely sent it through the middle. He got no damage whatsoever. But this is Wedgwood, and yeah, just nowhere to go. And then you see the green car, Justin Malarkey, streaking his way through the middle. That's incredible. I think he did the same thing last week. Malarkey also had an incredible level of avoidance in an accident like that. So clearly he's got some form of repellent in that car.
Well, that was your leader hitting the wall there that we were on board with for a moment. Here's an on board now with Malarkey. Here it is.
Yeet.
Oh my! Woo.
The gates opened up for him and full throttle straight through the middle. And yeah, like I said, Austin Bloom did hit the wall on the outside there, so he's clearly worried. He knows that Caleb Morrissey has that speed, so maybe he's pushing a little bit too hard. Maybe just about everybody got a little bit of target fixation through turn 2 there and made the same mistake, but everybody just pushing a little bit too hard, getting a little bit too aggressive, and everybody just met in the middle, especially those at the back.
So now, we're going to get a restart. Around 10 laps to go. And this certainly complicates things for those up at the front, as everybody's going to stay out at least in the top 5, top 10. First one looking to bring it to pit road looks like will be Wedgwood. Everybody else is going to try and fake it here. So everybody else going to stay on the racetrack except for Malarkey and for Dylan Wedgwood. Check that. That's Dalton Beer coming on to pit road, not Malarkey. Got the wrong green car.
I must admit, if I was one of these non-damaged drivers at the back, if I'm Malarkey, if I'm Morash, I would have come in for tires there because the cars behind me are coming in to fix damage. I'm going to get out of them either way. I'm not going to lose any spots, but I will have fresher tires than the drivers in front of me. It's only been 5 laps, but that's still 5 laps. That's less than 0, or more than 0, I should say. So if I came in there, I would have that little bit of extra tire life, and it might be worth it in the end for a few extra positions. So I would have taken the gamble there. Clearly the drivers don't agree with me.
I appreciate you corrected your math and didn't have a Rick Allen 0 times anything at 0 is still 0. Or no, it was 0 divided by 0 is still 0. It was something stupid like that. I think it might have even been 0 added to 0 is something stupid.
Well, last week when I was calling the finish, I said Caleb Morrissey was in 3rd and he had to pass 3 cars to win the race, and that's just mathematically not true. So
had to pass
math is always difficult,
as well as 2 others. Yeah, I like it.
Always difficult to do math up here, but luckily we don't have to do much of it. It's all the drivers and the pit crews that have to do it. You know, these guys have those gigantic McLaren Technology Center level pit crews running their strategy. They're doing all sorts of calculations, and whatever those calculations were in the Justin Malarkey Technology Center, they're disagreeing with my hypotheses over here.
Should be getting 1 to green here this time by.
Now, Caleb Morrissey's probably got to be the favorite for the win here because we know he has the pace over Bloom. We know Bloom's maybe a little bit hot under the collar. We saw him get into the wall. And Scott Wheeler Jr., while he has passed 16 cars since this race started, he hasn't shown the same raw speed that Morrissey's had. But with 12 laps to go, it's going to be only a total of 17 laps on these tires if we do go green to the end. So it will be a shorter green flag run. So short run pace will be important. But who has more short run pace than Caleb Morrissey here today? Not many other drivers do.
All right, so field comes off turn 2, and we're half a lap away from the restart.
I think Alan Kunman might be confused. I think he might have meant to load into the session in an IndyCar because he's warming the tires, he's swerving up and down the back straight, he's pulling all the IndyCar moves that you normally see here, but I think this car weighs about 3 Indy cars, so they're not quite doing the same thing.
Hey, you never know. All right, so through 3 and now through 4, we get ready for the restart. All right. Pace car will bring it off turn 4, and we'll head to pit road. Green flag.
Another typical Austin Bloom restart, but Morrissey's the closest of anybody so far. He's nearly to the back bumper of Bloom into turn 1, still about a car length between them. But if Morrissey doesn't get too high here, it's a decent run from the 6, the 4, and the 97, the 2 Scots, too busy fighting with each other. These two up front streaking away. It's a great exit from Morrissey down the back straight, but he's not going to be close enough yet.
Let's see what kind of draft Morrissey gets here down the back straightaway. Austin Bloom leads the way. They've got a 3-car gap between themselves and Scott Zellner, who's in the 3rd spot, trying to hold on to it with Scott Wheeler and James McKee right behind. But Morrissey is all over the back bumper of the 3. He's within a car length as they bring it around off turn 4. We will see 10 laps to go here from Indianapolis.
Now, what can Austin Bloom do to defend from Caleb Morrissey here is the question he's going to be asking himself, and it's just going to be a case of not making any mistakes. If you bobble one time, Caleb Morrissey is going to have the better of you if he doesn't do the same thing. So Bloom's got to be picture perfect here. He's got to be apex perfect through every corner. It wasn't that time, but he does have that critical car length between him and Morrissey. He can't be making multiple mistakes, though, because that's going to go away in an instant. And if Caleb Morrissey gets the pressure to him, it's going to be tough holding him off.
Into turn 3. Morrissey trying to close the gap. Last time by at the line, Bloom was a 10th faster. We'll see what it is this time by as they bring it around. Andrew Siegel on pit road. 9 laps remaining at the stripe, even between the top 2 cars and their lap times. 3 1,000 separating them. Morrissey just barely faster, but Scott Zellner is closing the gap as well.
Scott Zellner, we know he has some short run speed. He was our pole sitter, but in that first run, he just kind of fell to the wayside, almost 5 seconds back from the leader once that first caution came out. So hopefully for him, he's found something here. He can catch up to the back of these two. If they start fighting, it'll be better for Zellner and Morrissey. He's right to the back of the 3 now. There's absolutely nothing between them. It was another bobble from Bloom. Morrissey almost running the curb on the inside. Got to be careful not to go too low down there. He had the gap closed, and suddenly through turn 4, Bloom brings it all back again.
8 laps to go at the stripe. Morrissey just about a 10th quicker. He closes it in. He gets right down to the white line. Maybe overdrives turn 1 a little bit, but he stays right in line with the 3. They bring it through turn number 2. Morrissey lost a bit of time in between 1 and 2. We'll see what kind of run he gets off the corner.
It was a great run off the corner, but there's just a little bit too much distance between them again. He's got that gap down to almost below a 10th, but he's just not close enough. He can't send it to the inside in turn 3 yet. He needs to be directly side by side. He's going to get the bumper to the inside of the 3.
Caleb Morrissey to the inside through turn 4, side by side for the race lead. Morrissey slides up. He's going to hip check Bloom. They're going to hang on down the front straightaway. Side by side for the lead. Coming to 7 laps to go. Here comes Zellner. Where's he going to go? How about up the middle? 3 wide for the lead, headed for turn 1. We know how this will work. It probably won't. Bloom backs out. Zellner on the outside. Morrissey still hanging down low. Zellner's going to go from 3rd to the lead off turn 1. He's clear.
That was the move of the century from Scott Zellner. He found the gap in the middle.
Woo! Almost turned Bloom off the corner.
Yeah, Morrissey didn't do anything especially wrong there. He just got loose on the bottom and drove up into the 3. They both saved it, but that loss of momentum, that was enough, like I said, to get Scott Zellner into the fight, and he took advantage of it. He wasn't holding back, and he found that gap through the middle. The two of them didn't close it, and easy enough. Scott Zellner now has about a 5-car length lead over these two who are going to be fighting even more.
Yeah, you got Morrissey now in 2nd, who has a different man to chase. The only problem is Scott Zellner has been arguably the fastest car of the day. Bloom looking to the outside of Morrissey, trying to slow him down the front stretch. Here comes Bloom back on the outside. The outside line doesn't work too well, even though it worked for Zellner. Morrissey gets a little loose down low, still side by side. McKee has joined this battle as well, right behind Scott Wheeler Jr. Here they come up off the corner. They're still side by side. No, Morrissey clears him.
But these two tempers might be flaring between the two of them. Is Morrissey going to block the 3? No, he isn't. Bloom is going to have the inside to turn 3, but he's only got a teensy little bit of a bumper there. But he is going to get to the inside. They're going to be side by side. Is he going to wash out and maybe repay the favor, bump Caleb Morrissey out of the way through turn 4? No, he's going to get it done cleanly, and Morrissey's still there, but he's fallen back.
Yeah, Morrissey kind of missed the corner getting into turn number 3 that last time, gave him a little too much room, and it may cost him. Here comes Wheeler. Where's he going to go? Looks like he's going to go with Bloom. We've got 5 laps to go here from Indianapolis. They're battling for second. Bloom on the inside. You got Wheeler looking down there with Morrissey up high.
Morrissey did not lift through turn 1. He was going straight for the wall, but didn't seem to phase him. But, oh, that's way too high.
Run. Morrissey, even way up high, makes it work. Bloom caught the apron and didn't have the run. We're 2 wide, 2 rows deep. Here comes McKee looking underneath Wheeler, right behind these guys that are side by side. This is perfect for Zellner. He's cracked this lead open by more than a second.
Now, this is going to be worrying Zellner a little bit, though. McKee bodies Wheeler out of the way. If these guys bring out a caution, that's Scott Zellner's lead going bye-bye immediately. So, while this is great for Zellner, it's also going to be worrying for him because this is the closest anybody's been all day. Unfortunately, that little bobble between McKee and Wheeler has destroyed these 2 cars and sent them out of this battle. So it looks like it's going to be a fight for second if Bloom can get back to Morrissey.
Scott Zellner, 0.3 faster a lap at least, if not more. He's actually 0.4 faster than Bloom that last time by. Coming to 3 laps to go. Let's see what Austin Bloom has hiding under his sleeve here. Let's see what he can do.
I worry that what he can do might not be anything because through turn 3, Morrissey gets a little bit deep again, but Bloom can't do anything with that. And then through turn 4, running pretty similar lines, I would say, he does get a run. And I tell you what, he proved me wrong. I was going to say it wasn't good enough. That is a very good run for Austin Bloom. He's going to get to the inside of Morrissey again. Seems like they've been switching back and forth every lap. With 3 to go, can he make the inside work here? Morrissey's going to squeeze him as tightly as he can. And the outside on these older tires, it's really working for Morrissey.
Scott Zellner just about lost it coming off turn 1. Bloom had room to the inside, couldn't quite get there. Now he's going to slide up in front of McKee. McKee's all over the back bumper. He's going to go to the inside here down the back straightaway. This is side by side for third. When it rains, it pours for Austin Bloom. He may fall back to P4. McKee throws it in on the inside in that Toyota. Bloom trying to hold strong on the outside. It won't work. James McKee takes over the spot as we're coming to 2 laps to go.
Those tires on the 3 are not in full bloom. He's used up all of his stuff. But again, as I say that, I should stop saying things about Austin Bloom because it's just helping him. He gets a better exit than McKee, but he's not close enough down the back straight. I was going to say McKee made a critical error there. He almost hit the outside wall, but he's just fine. He's clear of Bloom into turn 1. He's actually pulling away a little bit even as he gets loose. And I think Morrissey just clipped the outside wall in the short chute there.
Down the back straightaway for the penultimate time. We've got people slipping and sliding behind these leaders. Adam Bossi almost knocked the fence down. Poteet did the same thing about a turn but prior, as they're kind of bobbing and weaving down the back straightaway. A great rebound for Alan Kunman. He sits P9 as they're all chasing Scott Zellner. But Morrissey, I'll tell you what, 0.3 faster that last time by. He's half a second behind.
Zellner is struggling.
4. Zellner coming to the white flag. Next flag ends the race. Can Scott Zellner hold on for one more lap and pick up his first win on the season? There goes Morrissey into the wall. Got loose off turn 1. Here comes McKee. He's going to go to the inside for a second. They'll be side by side. That's all Zellner needs to see as they come down the backstretch for the final time.
Morrissey just pushing a little bit too hard. He was full throttle through turn 1 almost, and he just sent it into the outside wall. He wanted to win that thing, but just tried a little bit too hard, and it didn't work out for him.
Scott Zellner going to bring it through turns 3 and now turn 4. McKee takes second. Here comes Morrissey looking for third. Check that, it's Bloom. Bloom will get there. I don't think Wheeler will, but Scott Zellner comes across the line from pole to victory lane. He wins Indianapolis. What a finish.
And you cannot fault Caleb Morrissey for going for it. It lost him 2 spots, but he wanted that win. Unfortunately, it was just a kind of a terrible turn 4 coming to the white flag there, and Morrissey just wasn't close enough to Zellner and pushed it a little bit too hard trying to make it up. Did not work out for him, but it was a great effort from the back. Scott Zellner, a great effort from the front. He was kind of anonymous for the majority of the race, and then out of nowhere, he stole it back.
Scott Zellner going to victory lane for the first time this season. We'll talk to our top 3 in Zellner, McKee, and Bloom. Heartbreak for Caleb Morrissey finishing P4 tonight. After leading, sat on pit road for a while, stormed back up to the front, but too many mistakes on that last green flag run prevents him from getting on the podium tonight.
And in the championship, it's going to be a big day for Scott Wheeler Jr. He only finished 5th, but Kunman was 9th. So again, Wheeler Jr. going to be streaking away. It was a 5-point gap. I'll have to calculate it. Probably going to become a 9-point gap, which is still pretty close with 3 races to go. But Wheeler sitting pretty good as Zellner destroys the car on the outside wall. He's doing donuts on the bricks, but they're virtual bricks, so who cares?
Yeah, well, I mean, virtual Roger Penske may be upset, but, you know, these things happen. Virtual David Land's probably firing up a Twitter storm as we speak, trying to get Scott Zellner thrown into prison or something. Nonetheless, we'll talk to him and the rest of our top 3 in a moment. How about the results from tonight's race? Scott Zellner, your race winner. James McKee, 2nd. Austin Bloom, 3rd. Caleb Morrissey, 4th. Scott Wheeler Jr. comes home in P5. Then Dylan Poteet, Adam Bossy, Kendall Kerr, Alan Kunman, Tyler Snyder, your top 10.
And malarkey on the precipices of the top 10 in P11. Dylan Wedgwood, Chance Duckworth, Jeff Morash, Dalton Beer, Matt Owens, kind of the used car lot, all involved in incidents of their own. Brad Kress got disconnected. He was a lap down. Andrew Baker, Andrew Siegel wrecked someone for dead last. He finished 19th. Toby Wedgwood wiped out on the front straight. And Dylan Body, 51 laps down because he hit the wall early and wiped himself out early.
That's your field for tonight. Let's talk to our race winner, Scott Zellner. Well, that was pretty cool, huh? How about that 3-wide move for the win?
Yeah, how you guys like them apples?
Take us through that last green flag run there, because, boy, when they got side by side, you just got shot out of a cannon to catch those guys and take the lead.
Yeah, I was really not hoping to see that caution that came out there. I was kind of thinking I could have ran down the 3 on the long run because I saw him hit the wall a couple times. But yeah, I got behind Caleb and Austin there, and I just sent it.
So this win certainly helps with the rest of the season. We only have 3 races left, but you're still kind of lurking around in the points battle coming into tonight. You sat P10. You lost a couple of spots after last week. What does this do now looking ahead for any possible shot at a championship?
I missed too many races this season to grab the championship, but I'm going to come in and see if I can't get some more trophies before the end of the year. It's been a really long time since I've won a race in this league, and just really happy that I finally got the job done again.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight, and we'll see you next week from wherever in the world the wheel decides to send us. So congrats again.
Hey, thanks, guys. Before I send off, I want to give a big thank to everybody at Four Horsemen Racing, Scott Wheeler, Toby Wedgwood, and Caleb Morrissey. Couldn't ask for a better group of teammates to run the show with. And thanks for putting on this broadcast. I'm sure I'll be watching tomorrow with a big old smile on my face.
Scott Zellner, your race winner tonight from Indianapolis. Let's talk with second place finisher with Joey Tebbin. It is James McKee.
Good old Jimmy McKee from 5th to 2nd. I must admit, it seemed like you took a little bit of a supporting role in some of these battles, but you picked up the pieces in the end, and one way or another, you made it up into 2nd place, beating a lot of guys who were fighting for the win. How was it inside the cockpit?
Pretty fun.
I mean, it was pretty fun for us to watch, too, especially in those final laps when it was kind of a four-way battle. It was you and Wheeler and Bloom and Morrissey, and you came on top of every single one of them. Did you think you were going to come out on top of all of them when that was going on?
Not really sure. Yeah, I don't really have a good answer for that. I mean, if they weren't battling, we probably would just stayed single file and just ran like that. But I was hoping when they went all three wide, or at least I think they went three wide, when Zellner took the lead, I was hoping they would all kind of hit each other a little bit harder and slow each other down, and I can just go on by. But that didn't happen. But either way, it was still fun.
Well, coming into this race, were you looking forward to racing these cars at Indy? It's a very different track compared to some of the other ones we've run this season, but they wanted that 2 mile or longer track, and we ended up with this one. Were you feeling good about it coming in?
I love Indy. I'm from Indiana, so this is my home track, and it doesn't put on the greatest of shows, but it's a lot of fun to drive. So yeah, I was looking forward to it. I was glad I got picked tonight. I wish we could run it more than once, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was looking forward to it.
Now, I'm no mathematician, but I believe you're still mathematically eligible for the championship with 3 rounds to go. Do you think that's a realistic possibility? I think you're something like 40 points back, which is it's make-upable, I would say.
Yeah, I can be optimistic. If everybody has poor runs the next few weeks and we're able to have some good runs, that'd be awesome. But either way, we've had a couple races previously that didn't go our way that shouldn't have gone that way, but that's just the nature of the beast, I guess. But we'll give her all we got.
Any tracks you're specifically looking forward to in these final 3, other than Indy again?
I'd love to see Watkins Glen show up. I love that track. I think we can have a good run there. Maybe even Bristol. Love Bristol, even though it can be chaotic at times. But those are 2 of my favorite tracks other than Indy. Maybe even Pocono, kind of like an Indy-like track. So any of those would be great.
All right. Congrats on your second place. Anybody else you want to thank before we kick you out of here?
I'll just thank SP Designs as always. Dylan Body with Body Shop makes awesome paint schemes. So if anybody wants a good paint scheme, get in touch with him, and he'll make you a beast.
Jimmy James McKee, P2 tonight in the number 9. He'll be fighting for the championship for the rest of the season. We'll see more of him later next week. But we got one more driver with you. It is the driver of the number 3. Started 3rd, finished 3rd. Lots of 3s. Austin Bloom is with Jake.
A wild night for the driver of the 3, led some laps toward the middle stage of that race. And man, you had a whale of a battle there for the lead with Caleb Morrissey and then for second place. Take us through your night here from Indianapolis.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it gets a little, I don't want to say boring whenever we're just running out there that first run, running off the laps. But man, Caleb was so fast, man. Getting up next to him, we're so even. We were really just pulling ourselves back towards the pack, and ultimately that's what gave the win, I think, to Scott. Not saying that he's not deserving, but I really think between Caleb and myself, it was between us on speed. But that's how it is in racing, you know. Had a lot of fun battling them, and yeah, just happy to get a 3rd place and move on.
Out of the championship picture, but 3 races left in the season. And what's on the agenda, I guess, for Austin Bloom here for these next 3 weeks? What's the plan?
Same plan as every week. Just go out here and try to win races or finish top 3 or 4 or 5, whatever my speed is that week. You know, try to finish where I run. But yeah, just keep going for wins. Hopefully we get a road course, because I really feel confident if I get a road course. I got one, so.
Well, congratulations on the podium tonight, and best of luck next week at wherever the world the wheel decides to send us.
Watkins Glen, please.
Not the first person to suggest going to Watkins Glen next week. I guess we'll find out. That's Austin Bloom, your 3rd place finisher tonight from Indianapolis. Final thoughts, Joey?
Well, when Indy got drawn, I wasn't expecting the best race, but I must admit I was quite entertained. It might be helped by the fact that we missed the first 23 laps of the race and it was a bit of a shorter run, but other than that, I very much enjoyed this. That Scott Zellner pass is going to be one for the highlight books. Hopefully we can send that to the iRacing top 10 or something. They're looking for stuff all the time, so maybe we'll streak into the 10th spot if they don't have anybody else to choose from. But other than that, good stuff tonight. I had fun at least.
It was a wild, wild race tonight. The first 40 laps panned out exactly how I thought it would. Not great, but those last 20 laps, things really started to get interesting, and it put on a whale of a show for us here tonight. That's our broadcast for tonight. Looking ahead, Four Corner Racing League, the season finale, next Monday night at 8:30. We're back with this a week from tonight. And Core Season 4 is back Wednesday next week, 9 o'clock. The duels Thursday next week, Veterans Day, 9 o'clock. That is the Daytona 250. And you'll see it over on the Core YouTube page, I think. I don't know if we're changing that or not, but if we change it, we'll let you know where to go. Nonetheless, that's our broadcast for tonight. We will see you next week for Four Corners. Until then, for our producer, Zach Johnson, for Joey Tevin, I'm Jacob Hitz. Thanks for watching. Good night.